What if you could run your own AI assistant, your own personal cloud, a Bitcoin node, and any other open software you want, all from a box the size of a paperback book next to your computer, on your desk, in your garage, wherever you want? In fact, it's about this size, a little bigger when you include some hard drives. This is the Zima Board 2, everybody. And it's cheaper than a Mac Mini. It's a server board for your home at consumer level prices. Full transparency, this is my very first sponsored video ever. I love nerding out with devices I can have in my home that can do things for me, like run OpenClaw, which is what Zima Board contacted me to do. To show you how to set up the Zima Board and run OpenClaw and keep it going in your house with ability to add more hard drive space and even put a GPU in the top here. So I'm going to get into the pros and cons of the Zima Board with you, and we're going to set it up, get it up and running, and start up an OpenClaw instance. So let's dive in, shall we? Okay guys, so I'm not a fancy unboxer here, but here is me commenting on my unboxing experience. So you get the Zima Board 2 in this little box. There's a nice little letter here. And as you're going to see later, that cardboard box is actually a stand for the Zima. It actually goes in the original box, which is kind of neat. So what was included in what they sent me was the Zima Board itself. And then also I don't know what it's called, but a stack thing for hard drives. And I have never had to add a fan. I have added a hard drive to a Raspberry Pi before, but I never had to add a fan. I did do that after my thing started overheating, it felt like. So there's me with all my cables. Okay, so I had it all set up. Next, to install the fan, I had to open it up a bit. So right here, you can't really see it, but right there, yeah, that's where you put it. And I just popped it in with one of these plastic things. Boom. That wasn't included, by the way, but you could probably get it in with your fingers. And then you put the board back on, you screw it back in. Wow, what a great unboxing video and setup video, huh? Okay, and then what's neat is that there's just a little hole there for the cable to come out for the fan. It's built into the case. And then you take out this screw on the side casing, and then you put the screw back in, and then it's latched on. And it looks all nice and it's solid. And then I put it back into the cardboard box packaging. I pop in my 2 SSD drives. The Zima Board makes it very easy to just connect drives here. And there's even an add-on up here, which they sent me, which I'm not using, but to add NVMe drives, which is cool. And then I plug in the HDMI adapter, the power cable. You can also see I have 2 Ethernet ports attached, which is probably really cool for doing fast internet Ethernet things. Plug in the power, and we're on. Now, before you do install it, you should know you can install pretty much anything x86 compatible on the Zima Board 2. So for example, here in the docs, you can also install Arch Linux. They're not trying to force you to install Zima OS. Zima OS is not open source. That alone might be enough for some of you to be like, all right, I'm going to use something else like Linux. You could also use Unraid, for example. I've seen this recommended on Reddit. I haven't used it myself. Perhaps one day I will try. You could also install TrueNAS, which is another type of operating system for this kind of situation. I am fairly new to this with similar setups. I've always just used Umbrel. You can run a Bitcoin node really easily. You can run OpenClaw as well. You can run your own Nextcloud. They have an app store, and you basically have a whole suite of all kinds of open source apps that you can just install and use locally at your house. Umbrel's operating system is open source, and it's just kind of more of a focus on a different type of open source self-hosted demographic. But that said, in this video, I'm just going to use Zima OS. It's very beginner friendly, but just know that there are options available to you depending on how deep you want to go. So we have the Zima Board set up, and if you're getting started for the first time, like me, we'll go head over to the docs for the Zima Board 2, and it'll talk to us about all of this in first boot. And you're going to see Zima actually recommends you use the Zima client. It's an app. As you know from this channel, I am more about doing things on your own as much as possible and not using third-party software. So we could go to find.zimaspace.com, install this app, and if you're comfortable with that, I recommend you doing that. And this will make things simpler, don't get me wrong, but we're not going to use the app for now. What we're going to do is find the IP through our router. So if you log into your router's backend, you'll see your devices, and here we go. We got the Zima Board 2 at 192.168.8.200. So we open that up, and here we go. We're at the welcome screen completely locally. I don't have to install any app, etc. So Before I click accept, I'm going to check out the privacy policy. And I've already read through this once, and I will tell you that it's a good privacy policy. So it only processes any kind of personal information if you're providing it. Other than that, it will only receive and post device information to provide services, but it doesn't collect, store, use, or analyze any personal data. So it doesn't need to be kept safe because they don't store anything. And that's what they've got written here. There is some other stuff I believe that might be processed by their app, like your IP address, and that's pretty standard. But they make it pretty clear that they're not into the data collection thing. So that's cool. That's awesome. I'm into that. I accept your privacy policy for my home server. So now we create an account. Introducing Zima OS. Okay, I'm going to start with the dashboard here, and then we'll go into the files and the App Store. First, we're just going to walk through everything. We've got some little advertisements for the Zima Cube and what's possible here. You do need the Zima client for that. The Zima board will continue to encourage you to get the Zima client. I'm not going to do that just yet. As you can see here, we have a pretty standard setup here. We can see the CPU usage, the RAM. I've got 15 gigs of RAM. There's 48 gigs of hard drive storage. We got a network dashboard there. And here it sees my 2 hard drives, 4 terabytes and 8 terabytes. Great. But the truth is, I don't think these are formatted right. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to access those yet. Let's go into the settings. And we'll see options here. You might have an option to upgrade your firmware. I recommend you do that. Upgrade the Zima OS. I like how DuckDuckGo is the default operating system. And we can just see everything going on here. If you want to reset, start over, you just click that button there. And then we have a storage tab for the settings. We can go see the files in the Zima OS hard drive here, which is neat. And we'll explore this more later. And then here under network, we can see we're connected via Ethernet. And it's got a virtual network in case we're using the Zima client. So let's take a look at the App Store now. And this is always fun, gives me giggles in my stomach. As you can see here, we can install OpenClaw. And there's going to be 2 main apps we explore today in this video. OpenClaw is going to be the first one. I'm going to click install there. And just in general, you can see there's just apps for everything. Obsidian here. These are pretty much open source alternatives to like all kinds of mainstream software, from accounting to GitHub to, you know, this is like a Miro if you do like diagrams. There's torrent software in here. There's OpenClaw. There's all kinds of stuff here. So this can be really fun and addicting. Zima OS has quite a list of apps in its app store. And then you'll also see we can add a containerized application. We can add a Docker image here. So for example, I could just add NanoClaw or Agent Zero or anything with a Docker image. I'm not going to do that right now. I might mess around with it later. But even better, what I'll probably do is just run the terminal and have OpenCode install Agent Zero, NanoClaw, etc. So let's wait for our apps to install here, and then we'll have some fun. We can use the App Store to install things, or as you can see from the B-roll on the screen now, you can use OpenCode or any agent. You can just install any agent and tell it to install an app in a Docker container, and it will show up right here as an app. So right here, this is a Compose. This is a Bitcoin node. I actually disabled it, so it's not running. But you can have anything just installed as its own container, as well as just going through the actual App Store. So I'll install OpenClaw here. We'll continue that in the background. So it's easy enough to install apps from the App Store. But what if you want to have even more fun? Well, recently the Claude code was leaked, and this guy forked it, and you probably heard something about that. So anyway, what I did today in the AI Captains community co-working call is we took it and we installed it right onto my Zima board using OpenCode. So now in the Zima board SSH, I can change it to the data directory, just run claw, and there we go. We got claw code running in Rust on the Zima board. Help me install NanoClaw. Something like that, right? So we can use OpenCode. We can use any agent in here to just do things for us. Now, claw code is like new. I just did this for fun. But there it is. So back to the interface. There's OpenClaw. Let's take a look. We need to check out the configuration guide to get OpenClaw working on the Zima board. So you click here to Zima Space, to the docs, and we see what we need to do here. And that is this. We need to open the terminal as sudo, enter the container, and run the configuration. So I'll copy that. Oh, here we go. We got all the NanoClaw instructions. Cool. So let's just clear that. Thanks, claw code. So now we will run that Docker command. Here we are. We need to run that. And we have the OpenClaw configuration wizard. So let's get the model and provider set. which means it's time to get those API keys ready since you can't use Claude Code anymore. I go ahead straight to Venice. You know me, I'm a Venice guy. It's one API for everything, including videos and images and uncensored if you need it, and privacy if you need it. I'm a big fan of Venice. Default model, Kimi K25, that's probably pretty good. I like to have some options here, so I'll keep in GPT 5.4 mini, and it looks like I gotta go back to that command. And actually, I think I can just run OpenClaw config. No, yeah. So let's do this again. All right, so let's activate that one. And I hear Aeon 2.0 is kind of cool. We'll play with that one. And of course, Gemma 4 just came out. Let's see what that's all about. Oh, and when we need end-to-end encrypted, GLM 5. I don't see Gemma 4. Oh, there it is. Gemma 4, 31B. Great.
Real quick interruption, guys. If you are building with AI and you're doing so alone, that is the gap. Not the tools, not the skills, it's the crew, it's the community. And that's why I want to let you know that the AI Captains Academy exists on School. There's so much going on in the AI space, but inside the school, you can close the technical gaps, whether that's context engineering, a framework for understanding AI tools and using them, the command line, Git, stuff like that, everything. Not to mention weekly workshops and working calls and good vibes. So there's a link below to join the crew. I hope to see you there. Back to the video.
So we got that all set up. Now let's set up our channel. I am going to use a Telegram bot. I'll enter the token here. If you've never done this before, you need to message the bot father and then start a new bot. I'm going to call it ZimaClaw. ZimaClaw. Username, ZimaClaw bot. Oh, it's already taken. ZimaClaw Yolo bot. Great. We paste that in there and we're finished. Configure DM access policies. Yes. Let's pair it. Looks like we got disconnected. All right. So let's link up. Let's pair. Now I have to message the bot. There we go. Pairing code is this. And now we copy that and we make sure nothing's here and we run that code. Boom. Hello. ZimaClaw. Who am I? Who are you? Yes, you are ZimaClaw, an open source LLM powered assistant running on my Zima Board 2. Give yourself a science fiction personality. ZimaClaw. Great. Tell me what model you're running and provider. Plotting to take over the world from a mini ITX form factor? I don't even know what that means. Is that what the Zima board is? Mini ITX? Kimi K25. Great. From Venice. Cool. So we can see here that OpenClaw, you can open the app here, but really, I don't even know how to get this to work. I've been playing with it and I can't get the dashboard. But you don't really need it. As long as you have access to the SSH terminal, so you can tell the AI to fix things for you, and you have access to your ZimaClaw on Telegram, and that can help you as well, even though it's not really recommended to like put API keys in there and stuff. So now, every morning at 10 a.m., I want you to give me a comprehensive breakdown of what's happening in the AI world from X and the news. Install this skill to scrape. I love the Apify skill. So I'm a big fan of Apify. It is like just all these actors that do scraping around the web. So I'll give it that. And I'll have to give it an API key after. So that's working pretty fast here. And this is private, working with Kimi K25 via Venice. So this isn't being stored anywhere. It is running on Telegram, which is not encrypted with the bot. So there is that. But if you were to use a ZimaBoard with an open source operating system using a chat messenger like Element, you could get the total privacy and you're hosting it in your house, which is cool. And it's cheaper than a Mac Mini. It's way cheaper. It's an ACP harness skill. Meanwhile, I'll get my Apify token. And if you've watched any of my agent videos, I always give my agents to Apify. And I'm not being paid. I don't even have an affiliate link. Can I get an affiliate link? Because I should probably have. Oh, hey, I can do an affiliate link. Okay, so if you sign up for Apify, use the link below so I get some credits or something. So now let's create a new token. ZimaClaw. Let's create. Copy that. Wow. Give me K25, ladies and gentlemen, open source model. So now what I would do here is go back into here, and I guess I would nano, I think it's .openclaw.json. I think that's what it is. Nope. Is it that? Is it that? Oh, I don't have nano. Let's nudge this one. Great. So now I need to go into the shell here. I need to copy this. Oh, it's in the home node folder. And I will do just that. Okay, cool. So the API key set. Let's run a test and see how it goes. All right. So ZimaClaw is figuring this out over here for the scrape. It's fast. It's doing its job even with an open source model. All right, cool. Here's our news briefing, and it works. The Atlantic. Let's see what the Atlantic has to say today. Oh, that URL didn't seem to... Oh, it doesn't have the full URL here. AI breakthrough, Morgan Stanley issues a warning. So we're going to have to fix that. Agentic AI could be the next big breakthrough. No shit. AOL news. Okay, cool. Trending on X. And I'll just say, make sure the URLs you share are directly to the source article or post. Great. So we got OpenClaw working with the ZimaClaw. Great. Now we have our full links. It has to send it as code, so I have to copy and paste. Cool. A major breakthrough in 2026. Yeah, no shit. 15-year lease agreements for AI facilities. Yep, this is it. So we got our Telegram bot working. It's got a skill. We can keep training it to do that. There's 1,000 bazillion things you can have OpenClaw do for you, especially with its cool heartbeat feature. So now every morning I'm going to not wake up, but in the middle of my morning, I am going to get some news. So ideally I don't have to go into the cesspool that is my X feed and the mainstream media. That's it, guys. That's Zima OS. To close this off, I mean, there are so many cool apps you can do here. And like I mentioned earlier, putting a Bitcoin node in here could be really helpful for a sovereign local stack at your home. Nextcloud for like a local Google Drive, Obsidian, etc. And yes, Zima OS is not open source, but you can find open source operating systems to install on the Zima board. This was a sponsored video. There is a referral link below. I do think this is a cool product. Keeping the privacy things in mind, it could be a great solution for your agents. So check out the Zima board if you've been looking for something like this. As you see in this video, it performs pretty well. It's got a nice convenient OS if you're new to this kind of thing. And you can install all the claws to your heart's desire. So if you do need help with stuff like this, join the AI Captains community. We talk about this stuff every week. We talk about what we're learning. We talk about software. We talk about hardware. And we're all just building with AI and seeing what's happening in this world. So we do a community call once a week, and we have like a co-working mastermind call once a week. And yeah, it's a cool community. Maybe we'll see you there. Peace.